What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, August the 3rd. We are moving towards the end of the summer here, which means we're getting closer and closer to the football season. And guess what? That's what we're talking about today, among some other things. You're watching the Wire Sports Podcast, and it starts right now.
I'm going in, it's first and 10. I'm a legend boy, a champion. They can't match the flows, the X's and O's. I'm breaking the code, devastation about to unfold. They calling me Derek by the way I roll. Bet you never ever seen a pro this cold. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I mix with I am Mike and the great Ali. I'ma run it back, believe me baby. I fathered the game, call me Daddy Brady. I'm like that, try be like this. Sammy Sosa, that boy don't miss. It's the return of the greatest. Any way you name it, I'm everybody's favorite. I'm bringing the pain and bringing the fire. Hey, stay tuned, it's going down to the wire.
Fellas, Richie, everybody, welcome back. Richie, welcome to season 8. We're officially, congratulations. You've been around since 2011. I mean, we're not going to give the numbers out, but yeah, we're in season 8, longest running show at H2G.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, yeah, what's up, fellas? How's everybody doing?
Right.
Good. Doing good. Ready to go, baby.
Good. Well, as I mentioned in the little pre-show bit there, we are going to dive into the NFL for a good portion of today's show because we are getting close to the preseason talks. So we're going to get started off today with a conversation that I saw thrown around today on multiple shows. And I think it's a good one to talk about, and we're going to expand upon it like we do here. So first things first, guys, in the NFL, who has the scariest offense? Which team has the scariest offense in the NFL coming into this this new season? I'm anxious to hear who wants to go first.
Yeah, me too.
I'll go first.
Okay.
And it pains me to say.
Go ahead.
It pains me to say. I think Tampa Bay has the scariest offense going into the season this year. It really killed me when they picked up Julio Jones. I mean, and then they picked up a running back this offseason. They got Tom Brady back. I think Tyler Johnson's still there. Like, they have some really scary pieces on offense, and they got Tom Brady directing it. I just don't see how any offense is going to be as explosive as Tampa Bay this year.
Interesting.
Barring, I have faith in Julio Jones can get back to being the workhorse wide receiver that he is.
Richie?
Don't get me wrong. I don't think anyone's going to say Tampa's not one of the top, if not the top offense. But I do think that's assuming Julio comes back to form. You know, the off year at Tennessee is hard to say, but again, also Atlanta was willing to do him dirty like that. So it's hard to say, right? It's kind of like what happened with AJ Green with the Cardinals, where like the Bengals just let him go, and everyone was hoping he'd still be like the player he once was, and he just wasn't there. Now Julio is much better than AJ Green, even though they came in the same draft. But the point being is, wide receivers aren't very successful at the age of 34 plus, right? Jerry Rice kind of spoiled us. Going to 40, playing better than like anybody, even at 40, than people did in their 20s. But don't get me wrong, Tampa Bay already incredible offense, right? I think we can already eliminate the Rams. Quite frankly, there's no OBJ and they lost Woods, so I refuse to say they're better, for instance, than Tampa Bay. I think I'm going to go a different route. I think there's two things I'll say is scary. Scary bad, I'm going to say Pittsburgh Steelers. All that quarterback carousel is looking terrifying in a bad way. Man, all of them like Trubisky looks bad. Pickett doesn't look great, obviously, because he's a rookie and not fair to Pickett. But the point being is that's scary too, in a different direction. So for Pittsburgh, it's like, who knows? That's horrifying. There's two teams I want to give a shout out to. I'll exclude the Bengals because that's my homerism. Obviously, they're a scary offense. Actually, 3 teams. I changed my mind. Raiders, got to give them a shout out. Wow, they're going to be scary as hell. They got Devontae Adams. I mean, we already know what a beast Darren Waller is. They're going to be a fantastic offense. I think they'll be top 5. I don't think they're the scariest, but I just want to give them a shout out. Miami Dolphins have the potential to be extremely scary as well with Tyreek Hill and obviously Jalen Waddle. They're both run 4.2s. They're both extremely fast burners. the real question is Tua, but you got to put him up there. They're getting a lot of hype for a good reason in terms of offenses. And we're not going to talk about it too much, but I got to say, with Deshaun Watson getting a 6-game suspension, you got to talk about the Cleveland Browns. One of the best rushing teams in the league. You're picking up Deshaun Watson. Yes, it's going to be 2 years before he plays, basically. But you just got to free Amari Cooper out of the blue. So, that's a team that can absolutely... Now, it may not be explosive, right? Like Tampa, we know, can go off for 45 a game. But we're talking about a team that's going to get 4.8 yards per carry rushing and has a stud top 3 quarterback, in my opinion, playing the position this year, improving over Baker Mayfield. That's going to be pretty darn scary too. So I want to give a quick shout out to all 3 of those teams. I think particularly Oakland is under the radar. Miami's getting a lot of hype. And obviously Cleveland is a team that's has a lot of potential success with Deshaun Watson. So I think those 3 teams offensively are scary in a good way. And Pittsburgh, unfortunately, is probably the one I'd be concerned with, just because that is a quarterback carousel if I've ever seen one. Just the fact that somebody even said that you might have to deal with your boy Mason is painful. The fact that Mason Rudolph is kind of winning that competition is not something you want to hear as a Steelers fan when you know they have the offensive weapons outside of quarterback right now.
Yeah. Let's just move on from Pittsburgh.
I had to throw a little hate at Pittsburgh. Come on.
I feel the hate. I'm close to being a free agent again. Today I'm sporting my Jurassic Park jersey though. So, Sahe, scariest offense in the NFL coming into 23. Who you got?
Yeah, these guys made some great points. Tampa Bay. Hey, Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Should I go on? Should I keep it going?
Crazy.
Should I keep it going? God dang, boy. Just looking at that Pro Bowl of a roster right there. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got a Pro Bowl team going throughout the whole regular season. So that is going to be, I don't know. That's not going to be scary to me because I'm a fan. It's going to be all love and just like, man, this is beautiful. But the scariest offense, I'm going to go a different route, man, just like Richie did. He took one of the teams that I was going to say, and that team is the Cleveland Browns. Whenever you got a guy on your team that has over about 30, 40 allegations of SA on your team, every city you go to, hide your kids, hide your wives, shit, hide your husbands too, because we don't know Deshaun like that.
I didn't see that coming.
All those allegations, boy, that has scared me. Yes, sir.
I saw today he settled 23 of the 25.
Hey.
Is it 25 or 24?
Well, one dropped off. There was 25.
One dropped off originally. Yeah. So, anyways, we might talk about this in the future. Not the time right now.
Oh, I will throw in. I know I only said one team, but I think Baltimore is going to be kind of scary. They just picked up AJ Brown. I think that Lamar Jackson is going to take a couple of steps forward in his accuracy, possibly this season, since everybody's talking about it. And of course, he's got Andrew. So, I mean, we'll see. That division is going to be pretty tough.
Aaron Rodgers got a new tattoo.
Wait, they got AJ Brown? Are you talking about the Eagles? Or Baltimore?
The Eagles got Baltimore.
AJ Brown went to Philadelphia.
Oh, I thought he went to
the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly is the new motto at this point. But because I was going to say, yeah, don't get me wrong. If AJ Brown went to Baltimore and Lamar Jackson actually had a wide receiver worth a damn, then yeah, I would have absolutely put Baltimore up there.
My bad. I don't know why I thought he went to, when y'all were talking, I don't know why I went from we were talking about Julio and I was like AJ Brown went to Baltimore. Yeah, no, AJ got traded to Philadelphia. Okay. And that's good for Philadelphia. I mean, they were borderline someone I was thinking about, quite frankly, because you got a better version of Tim Tebow up there, and now you got a wide receiver that can dominate. I mean, he's better than Tim Tebow. We know that. He is better than Tim Tebow. Let's see what Jalen Hurts does this year. He was a gamer last year. No, but right. But
What does everyone call Tim Tebow? A gamer? Yeah, no. I mean, I love Jalen Hurts. I'm not dogging on him. I'm just saying he's one of those guys that's like inconsistent, but when it comes time to it, he plays well. That's how I view him. That's why I think he's a better Tim Tebow. He's not that bad. He's not like Tim Tebow bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying he's not like, you know, if it was between him and Deshaun Watson, I ain't taking Jalen.
Oh, fair. I mean, that's
like,
we're talking
that's all I'm saying. Or like Joe Burrow or Kyle Murray. You know,
okay.
like,
I mean,
that's all I'm trying to say. Like, you can win with Jalen Hurts, but you win in rushing, right? They led the league in rushing,
right?
Even over Cleveland, they led the league in rushing. Philadelphia.
Man,
you got anybody else for us, Sahe? Or was that you were just trying to give us one of those hooks?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I thought you were. You said there's a couple, and then you went straight into the punchline. So I just wasn't sure if there's another one.
Sahe's dance in the background should be a GIF that we use in the corner of the show. I'm going to see if I can cut that out and make it into a GIF. GIF that one time. Richie, I want to move on, but I can't because, you know, my team sucks. I'm not jumping ship, but I'm feeling more empathy for other teams. Nobody else said the Bengals. I mean, you opted out because you're a Bengals fan. Wasn't Joe Burrow the most accurate quarterback last year?
Okay. I'll just briefly, in like 2 sentences, try to defend the Bengals. 4 new offensive linemen. Joe Burrow was sacked 58 times and was the most accurate quarterback. That's all I'll say.
This is what I'll say. The Ravens defense had all their starting corners hurt last year.
Very true.
Baker Mayfield was hurt all year. He couldn't really play. They had turmoil. And the Steelers, they're trash right now. Even though they haven't had a losing season, they're not the Steelers that we know.
Their defense is still legit.
Yeah.
I mean, the North is a bunch of killers. This year is going to be insane, honestly, because I agree. To me, Baltimore would have won the AFC North if they didn't lose 35 team members, quite frankly.
Right.
I think that even though the Bengals played well in the playoffs and they got hot, I think Baltimore easily wins that division if they were healthy. And I think the Bengals were the second best team, personally. But I mean, I'm looking forward to this season. One, because the Steelers are probably going to be the worst team. And then 2, I'm looking forward to seeing Deshaun Watson with Cleveland, even though, you know, we can talk about the allegations separately. And, you know, as we're going to discuss, Baltimore and Cincinnati are just 2 incredible teams. That division is going to be rough. I think when you look at most divisions, you can point at a team and they're going to win. The other one, AFC West, can be kind of tough too. You got the Chargers and the Raiders, but we know Tampa Bay winning their division. That's a joke. We know they're winning. We know.
Sound so confident about over there. Just take the confidence out of it.
We know the Rams winning because the 49ers are going to start Trey Lance. So we know the Rams winning their division. It's clear as day. Oh, I'm saying it. Even though I think San Francisco's the better team, their quarterback's worse right now. So you gotta go de facto Super Bowl champs. I mean, you have to.
You think so? San Francisco's the best team in that division?
I think they're a better team. Okay, I will repeat that. I think they're the better team. Let's not forget, guys. They won't. LA won when it mattered in the playoffs, and they got destroyed by San Francisco the other 2 games. And this was a San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo, who threw for 2,800 yards. All right, terrible quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. This guy's so overrated. He was just Tom Brady's backup and wins games, but like Tim Tebow style. He's not very good. So yes, like this year, I still think LA is going to be better than San Francisco due to Trey Lance. I think in 2 years when Trey Lance isn't as garbage, that's when I think absolutely San Francisco is better. When I look at the current San Francisco team to the current LA team, no OBJ, and they lost Woods, I don't think it's comparable. I think their offense
Von Miller
better.
left.
I mean,
Von Miller gone.
They picked up the guy from Seattle.
Yeah, no, they got him, Bobby.
They got Bobby Wagner.
Wagner.
They got Bobby Wagner.
Super
cheap. They got Jalen Hurts on the back end. They got they got all 3. They got the best player.
Jalen Ramsey, but I got you.
Jalen Ramsey. They got Aaron Donald. They saw Aaron Donald. They picked up I wouldn't say that they're just hands down better.
It's tough, but again, I'm a Rams guy. Remember, I was Aaron Donald the whole way through until they play the Bengals. I was all about Aaron Donald. And he's the best defensive player in football. But the San Francisco 49ers statistically had a better season defensively. And offensively, I think they're better this year, which is my point why I'm saying I think they're better. When you're already statistically better defensively, and now theoretically you're better, we'll have to find out this year. Theoretically, you're better offensively. You're a better team. Do I think they'll beat the Rams? And I'm going to go back to it. No, because the biggest point is I hate to say this. I trust Matt Stafford way more than I trust Trey Lance, even though Matt Stafford can be this, that, and the other. I'm not turning into Marvin. We both like Matt Stafford. I'm just saying that, Matt Stafford's not my top 5 quarterback. He's like,
I think they're going to have too much of a Super Bowl hangover this year. Mm-hmm. And Trey Lance got too much to prove this year.
I honestly like McVay's take on it. I don't think McVay's going to let them have that Super Bowl hangover. The way he's
I love McVay. We just had that
conversation last week. I don't think he's going to let them he's going to allow them to have that hangover that would normally come.
I agree with you. That's why I am picking the Rams to win that division. But I just think on paper, the 49ers are a superior team, except for quarterback. And that's why I'm taking the Rams. And the Cardinals aren't going to go anywhere.
You keep saying except for quarterback. I think that's my issue because I think that the Rams would have they're better defensively than what you're giving them credit for. Because you're saying superior. You're saying
I'm going superior. Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey are better, but collectively their defense, the 49ers. Well, Bobby Wagner is great, but big but. Bobby Wagner's 33 years old. I'm sorry, man. I can't do it anymore. He's 33. I always don't defend old men coming from the guy who's older than him, but I don't defend old men. All right. Once you're past 32 in the NFL, unless you're Tom Brady or you're a quarterback in general, your career is more likely in kickers. Sorry, kickers and quarterbacks. Once you're past 32, you're just not the best anymore. You might be really fucking good.
I'll give you
You're not the best
over anymore. Wagner. I'll give you Warner over Wagner.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And Nick Bosa is a beast. Now, let's not forget, obviously, we got that boy TJ Watt. But I'm telling you, Nick Bosa was the Aaron Donald of defensive ends. He was doubled 78% of the time last year, and he beat the double over 60%. Very similar numbers to Aaron Donald. Nick Bosa is a stud. And if their line improves outside of that, you will see those types of numbers, similar TJ Watt type numbers. Because let's not forget, TJ has and if it weren't for Aaron Donald, Cam Hayward is one of the best nose tackles of all time too. Truthfully, I'm putting him in like a top 10 nose tackle already. This dude is phenomenal, and he's always been under the radar because Aaron Donald is better, obviously. So you just don't hear about him. But Hayward, those are the only 2 players on their defensive line that's any good. But those 2 are some of the best to ever do it. And that's what I'm saying. If Bosa gets anybody worth a crap, Nick Bosa is going to start looking similar to TJ Watt, and people will actually get to see it. Because when you get doubled all the time, your numbers do go down, and that's just reality. Aaron Donald would have 20 plus sacks. Sorry, I was looking at a text. Aaron Donald would have 20 plus sacks every year if he wasn't tripled and doubled every single play. And I believe the same will happen for Nick Bosa.
Bosa going to stay on the field.
That's a big. That's a fair point, Sahe. I will absolutely. We'll have to see. Who knows? All I'm saying is, to me, I think numbers don't mean everything, but when you do better in points, points allowed, yards allowed, etc., or less red zone touchdowns, those things that adds up. Especially when you're in the same division where you play exact same teams, you can kind of start looking at how they played out. Now, obviously, each game is individual, and that's what makes football amazing, right? The Miami Dolphins week 1 versus week 12 are not going to be the same team. We all understand that, but that's why I'm saying it's a little more comparable than, say, comparing Pittsburgh to San Francisco's defenses. They play completely different teams, but these 2 play the exact same teams, and the 49ers gave up less across the board.
All right. Well, let's move it over to the defense since we started into that pretty heavily there. Let's go with scariest defense coming into the 2023-2024 season. And whoever wants to take it, I'm not sure, the rotation kind of opened up to an open forum, which I love. So whoever wants it can take it.
Yeah, this is a tough question because the NFL is all about offense, right? I don't see a defense right now. Like if I was an NFL team, I wouldn't want to play against. Maybe it's got to be either between the Washington Commanders with that D line, the Eagles with their young talent, and they got that big boy from Georgia down there, rookie. They're going to be a young, fast, hungry defense. Shit, man. Or I don't know. I think those are the top two scariest, like maybe fly under the radar defenses that you don't look at those teams or powerhouses, but their defense is going to show up and play. They just got good systems down there, and that defensive line for Washington, top-notch league across the board. Top-notch line across the board. I'm interested to see what y'all gonna say.
Yeah, for sure.
I might think of something else.
I mean, this is tough. I think this is way tougher than offenses because, you never know. Defense, in my opinion, can be much bigger on the injury bug than offense, personally. I think sometimes you can work around missing a guy unless it's a quarterback or, like, for instance, you're the Tennessee Titans and you lose your running back. Oh, wait, they were still able to win even when they lost the best running back in the league. That's kind of my point. But defensively, when you lose, like, for instance, if you lose TJ Watt and you're the Steelers, sorry, like, your defense sucks now. It is what it is. You lose Aaron Donald and you're the Rams and that's your whole game plan. Don't get me wrong, they have a lot of great studs, but you lose Aaron Donald, your game plan has to change dramatically. Now, in offense, that can happen too, but I think this is going to be really tricky. But here's what I will say. Buffalo was statistically one of the best defenses. Yes, I know when we saw the Kansas City postseason game, all we talked about is the offenses. But Buffalo allowed the least amount of total yards, and they picked up Von Miller. So there's one where I'm going to throw the hat in there at least. That you add Von Miller, Buffalo had a very good defense. They have the best safeties in the league, in my opinion. They're very, very solid team. Buffalo's very solid now. You pick up Von Miller, in my opinion, not for free because he's very expensive, but you add Von Miller and you're already a potent defense and an incredibly, offensive juggernaut. Well, at least Allen is anyways. That's a great defense. Other defenses, I mean, you got to talk about the Rams, but I'm just going to let someone else mention them. But we'll just say Rams. We already talked about it. But by de facto, the 49ers, as I just said, because I believe they're statistically superior. I got to throw in the Buccaneers, man. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's not forget the Buccaneers. They have a very solid defense. And one defense I will throw out there just because, even though I don't think they're at the same caliber overall, you have to give them their credit because every year they get them, sacks. Pittsburgh Steelers, right? They may not be, they will not, and I'm going to say it right now, you can put it on tape. You can make fun of me later about this in case I'm wrong. I just don't see how I am going to be. They will not be the number one defense next year, but they will lead the league in sacks because they've led the league in sacks 3 out of the last 5 years. They are a juggernaut in that regard. And so when we talk about scary, your quarterback being on his butt is always a scary concept. So we got to give the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though I made fun of them earlier, they're due on this side of the field. They always find a way to blitz well, blitz effectively, and lead the league in sacks most of the time. There's so many teams like Baltimore, et cetera. I don't want to keep talking about them because we want to give Trey an opportunity. There's so many great defenses. This is a really tricky one. That's why I like this one conversation better because it's just like, what do you think matters most? Points allowed, yards allowed, third down stops, et cetera. It really is different. But let's give the Pittsburgh Steelers a little shout out here. Absolute sack machines.
I will say this. They're going to spend more time on the field than the offense this season. Trey, what?
I think everybody pretty much called out, but I think pretty much every team in the entire AFC West is going to be, every defense in the entire AFC West is going to be legit. Yeah. Each team has two people that can rush the quarterback, and they have decent DBs. I think we already talked about the Los Angeles Rams and the 49ers. I think the Cowboys are going to be nice this year. I think 11 from Heaven is going to take another step forward. We already mentioned. I think Pittsburgh's defense is going to be legit. And like I said, they're getting their DBs back. Baltimore's going to be another one. Buffalo's going to be nice. I think Cincinnati's going to be okay this year. I think that there's a lot of legit defenses. I think,
and let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. Just the
Cleveland Browns. Oh my gosh! I think Sahe's point about the Washington Commanders' defensive line. They've been legit for the past couple of years.
They had an off year, but they are absolutely terrifying.
I mean, there are going to be a lot of juggernauts out there, and like you said, it all depends on injury.
I think we named on 14 teams. There's 32 teams in the league. So that's exactly, I think, all of our points. That defense is just hard to narrow down. But when half the league is scary, that's the best way to put it on defense. You just never know what's going to happen.
I will say the Cowboys are going to be low-key scary this year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sahe?
No, I will say this: the New Orleans Saints. I didn't hear anybody mention, but they
fourth in the league last year.
They've got the formula to shut down Tom Brady in that scary offense, and they showed it time and time again over the last 2 seasons. They haven't had great quarterback play as of late. But they're always a team that's right there in it. They're scary as hell. That's one team I'm like nervous as hell to play this year because it seems like they always got the Buccaneers number. They could rush. They don't have great linebackers, but they could rush the passer, and they have great defensive back play. Losing the veteran back there is going to hurt. What's his name? I don't even want to say it. You guys know?
What are you talking about, Latimer?
No. Jenkins. Whatever his name is. Jenkins. He's the safety.
He's played for Atlanta. Yeah, I know
like 40 years. Yeah, he's been in the league like 40 years. He's
Malcolm Jenkins?
Yeah, Malcolm Jenkins. Yeah, there you go, from Ohio State. He's not there anymore. Yeah, he's not there anymore, so I think they might decline a little bit, but they could get somebody to step up there. They'll be scary as well.
Yeah, it's a great call out. And the New England Patriots are another one that people did not score against. So there's so many teams that this is a hard thing to answer. We'll have to see.
For sure.
That's why we love football.
Oh, yeah. And I'm happy it's back. Let me also say the Browns will definitely be a scary defense this year, at least if
playing against Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, if Rudolph gets the snap, he is going to take 2 days off.
He ain't going to say the N-word to him ever.
Yes, he's not going to want to get on the same field with them again.
I'm telling you, I was hoping. There's rumors Mason Rudolph was going to get cut. And with the whole Baker situation, I was like, pick him up. Come on, Cleveland. I want that drama. Pick him up.
Mason, you're supposed to be out there on the field stretching. Yeah, I'm just going to wait. Yeah, the game starts in 5 minutes. Nah,
give Kenny this game. I
think I'm getting. I need to be out for 2 weeks.
I got the beard.
All right,
that would be hilarious.
Let us know in the comments and the review section what you think about scariest offense, scariest defense. Obviously, a little bit harder of a conversation, as we just saw. When we come back, we're going to dive into some individual positions, and maybe we'll get into some other fun topics. I'm not going to go on the long rant twice a show, but make sure you check out our link tree during this brief commercial. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Wire Sports Podcast. That's right. We've got a lot of shows cooking in the works, including the Boss Dog Show. Check that out on right now. You can go check it out. Go to Spotify, type in the Boss Dog Show. It released on Monday. If you missed it, shame on you. But don't worry, they'll be back next Monday. That is a show specifically for service industry people. You know, anybody can enjoy it, but if you've ever been in the service industry and you've griped about that job, check out the Boss Dog Show, because I think a lot of people can relate. All right, we'll pitch the rest at the end. Guys, We did scariest offense in the NFL. We did scariest defense in the NFL. We're going to move on to individuals, starting with a probably pretty difficult argument, but I'm always wrong when I say things like that. Quarterback. Scariest quarterback moving into 2023. Who you got? I've been saying
I'll go
23
first.
this whole time.
I go first. I'm not going to take Sahe's punchline, so I won't say his name. There's a lot of scary quarterbacks. I am going to be a homer here. I'm going to go Joe Burrow. Based on what we just discussed about the offensive line, I'm going with Joe Burrow, man. This boy got sacked as much as David Carr got sacked, man. It's been brutal. It's been brutal. And, Penny Sewell is what a lot of people wanted. They ended up taking, what's his face? Jamar Chase. Obviously, that panned out pretty well. But at the same time, Joe Burrow was on his back most of last season. So with a new offensive line, I got to go Joe Burrow. I think this year, he got the most upgrade, so to speak. The only thing you could argue is Julio Jones' impact with Tampa Bay. But that's what I'm going to go with. I don't think there's anyone else outside of Tom Brady just being Tom Brady that scares me more. The other big one would be what we mentioned earlier. I won't say it because I'm hoping Trey will say it. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. We're scared of quarterbacks. Actually, we're taking open applications. Division 2 high school and up. Come on out. Trey, go ahead.
So I was going to say Joe Burrow. Initially, that was my first thought. I think if he could stay on his feet, he's gonna be dangerous between him and Herbert. But I'm gonna go a different direction. I think that Lamar Jackson is gonna be a monster this year. I don't know why. I just have this feeling that he's gonna light it up with his legs, of course, but with his arm. Because at times he can be extremely accurate, especially with the deep ball.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. When the best guy you got ever in your career is Hollywood, it's hard to compare. It's hard to say he's inaccurate or he can't do X, Y, and Z. He hasn't had talent around him. And last year he was injured a lot and people are dogging him for no reason. I think he's going to come off hot. I think he's going to do well next year for sure. I was assuming you're going to go David Carr based on our Devontae.
I think David Carr. I think David Carr is very. You know how we all heard how I talked about David Carr last year, especially with the problems that he had going on. I think the Raiders had the most off the field issues going on between the coach getting fired, the guy flashing guns, the other
Riggs. Killing
it was one thing after another. Then they had to bring in the special teams coach to be the head coach, and David Carr was the consummate professional. He backed up Ruggs. He backed up everybody. He led the team. They still scored points. Devin Waller went down. He still made it happen. I wanted to make a case for him for MVP.
And now he got the best wide receiver in football, arguably.
Now he has the best wide receiver in football, who he played with already at Fresno State. You're right. You know what? I didn't even think of David Carr.
Hunter Renfrow, double tight end stats.
I mean, damn. Hunter Renfrow is always open. He's going. I don't know. How is he good? How is Hunter Renfrow good?
But he always
he's just real shifty.
How do you
he's got good head fakes.
He's got good hands.
Guy. He reminds me of this guy I played with in high school. He wasn't that big. He wasn't that fast. But he was so precise in his cuts.
He can always be open. He's always open.
I hate that.
I don't know.
I hate to say it.
He played with. Didn't he play with Deshaun Watson?
I think he did. I hate to say it though, guys. The way we describe him is just the stereotypical white guy. He's shifty, and he turns his head really well. And he catches the ball. He's a possession guy.
Yeah.
He is,
that's what he is.
But that's what he is. I'm not lining him up as my number one receiver. No, he's but he's really good.
He always is open, though, is the point we're all trying to make. So you got Darren Waller, who's a stud. And you got Renfrow. Now you got Devontae. And as we just discussed, a quarterback who went through so much turmoil and with such poise and honestly was top 5 in statistics until about like week 15. He was up there for a long time. So I wanted to leave that open as an option just because I took Joe Burrow and because I think it's a great option. Quite frankly, I think he's going to do phenomenal. You can't go wrong with Herbert, as you mentioned. Now, Herbert is going to be a stud. Both those kids are crazy. Please say Tom Brady. Sahe, please.
I was so stuck on when we brought the topic. I was so stuck on Joe Burrow though.
Joe Burrow in the moment, yeah.
I was just like,
when I said Joe Burrow, I saw Trey's eyes like, this mother effer.
Yeah,
I said he wasn't gonna homer this guy.
He did it on purpose.
Audience, rewind. Just look at Trey when I say Joe Burrow. I promise
you gotta go back like 2 minutes and 46 seconds or something.
It was there. It was so funny. That's why I paused for a minute because I saw Trey and I was like, oops.
All right, Sahe, the drum roll has started. Everybody's anxiously waiting, but I'm going to switch gears and no, just kidding. Go ahead, Sahe. Who do you have as the most dangerous quarterback?
Man, there's some dangerous quarterbacks across the league. I think like a guy like Kyler Murray. Hell, you can't fucking see this guy. How are you supposed to see something you can't? How are you supposed to defend something you can't see? You just see a ball floating back there. That's got to be scary for defenders back there. So, Kyler Murray, oh my gosh, but that's not my pick. It's between these two guys. You got Patrick Mahomes and you got Aaron Rodgers, right? Both guys who lost their number one targets this offseason, right? So people are like, was it Patrick Mahomes or was it Tyreek Hill taking the top off the defense, allowing Patrick Mahomes to make those throws? Is Aaron Rodgers going to win? Would he have won back-to-back MVPs without Devontae Adams? They really don't have any other receivers besides those guys. But I feel like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers is those type of guys that makes their team better. You know what I'm saying? And some new guys are going to be stepping up for those teams. Maybe a guy or two that you never heard of step in those spots. And those quarterbacks, I feel like they both have a chip on their shoulder. Two guys that's been to the promised land, won a Super Bowl. They've been in this league for a little while. And they're pros, all right? And they're going to come in. They're going to light it up this year. They lost their guys. They went elsewhere. They got something to prove this year.
Okay. And, of course, Tom Brady. We're all putting him in there.
Well, of course.
It goes without saying. Julio Jones, as we discussed.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, you're right, though, Sahe. Kansas City is going to have some guys we never heard of before. A guy we wish we never would have heard of. Juju. Anyway, we're gonna move on to everybody's like, who? Juju. Yes, I'm still holding that grudge. We're moving on to
somebody's salty.
Yeah. Don't worry. He's just gonna make more TikToks. He's got a New Jersey to show off. Running backs, scariest running backs going into this year. Who do we got and who wants to start? I think we're going right now. We've been running Richie, Trey, Sahe.
I can stick with it. Okay, so somebody can say Derrick Henry. I'm not going Derrick Henry. I'm going Jonathan Taylor. I think with Matty Ice having a real quarterback, it's going to help him, not hurt him. Now, obviously, we know for a fact, and I'll just make the case, is I hope someone takes the king himself, but they lost A.J. Brown, so they're going to have to use him more. But we talked about it. You get used too much, you get 400 carries, you get injured. It's possible he gets injured like he did this previous season. I think Jonathan Taylor has, in my opinion, if Nick Chubb got the same amount of carries as these other guys, Nick Chubb would be leading the league in rushing, period. But they like that dual back thing, and he will never get the possession. So therefore, I'm going to say Jonathan Taylor. He was an absolute stud and has been a stud since he's been playing. I see it only improving having Matt Ryan going from Carson Wentz. So, I mean, for me, he led the league last year, and that was with a terrible quarterback. I think his odds will only improve, that he'll have less burden, less carries he needs to do, and more receiving. And this guy is a very comparable, I don't know if he's like Alvin Kamara, who I think is the best receiving running back, but he's right up there for a top 3 type receiving running back. He gets a lot of receiving yards. He's the reason I won the fantasy football last year, was this guy himself. So I gotta rep my guy, Jonathan Taylor. Fantastic running back.
Good call out too. We need to get the fantasy thing set up for this year's wire. All right, Trey.
There was another one I was going to do, but I didn't know the bid was so quick.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we can all say King Henry is the scariest running back. There's nobody getting in front of him about to take that hit. I mean, even if you did and you olayed him, I think the coach would just have to understand. Yeah, you go do it. You know, it'll be one of them moments like it would
pull my hammy if I was getting near him. You know, like oh.
Yeah, it's like you stand in front of the semi truck and let it hit you. You try it. I'm not doing that. I want to be able to play the next possession. But I was going King Henry, but I say Joe Mixon. I like Joe Mixon. I think he can do it all.
Yeah, he's
quick. He's got a burst. He's quick in between the tackles. He can catch the ball, and he can make things happen in open space.
Richie, you had one more before we keep rolling?
No, I didn't have one more. I think Joe Mixon is also a solid pick as a Bengals fan. I can, he was third in rushing, had the second highest yards per carry, fantastic running back. If they used him more on third down, he could have had closer to Jonathan Taylor numbers, but they only use him on first and second. I don't know why.
Yeah, and then with that new offensive line,
it's only going to go up for him. I mean, I think this is a great option.
They got Cincinnati's going to be a crazy team this year.
Offensively, for sure.
And then it's going to be in a rough. We'll see.
AFC North, man.
AFC North is going to be crazy, but Joe Mixon is going to be my pick for a scary running back.
Sahe, what about you? Scariest running back moving into this season?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. This running back plays for ain't about to do jack shit this year. It's unfortunate that he's on this team and they're just an average team, you know? They're just subpar. They're not going anywhere.
I know where this is going.
They might.
I know where this is going now.
I might surprise you guys.
I think I know where you're going.
No, I think we all know.
I don't know. I'm going to say this. Y'all going to be surprised. This running back was one of my favorite running backs coming out of college, right? I wanted my team to draft him so bad, and we drafted O.J. Howard instead. But Dalvin Cook.
Okay. I wasn't going to say him.
Never mind. I
was going to say Najee Harris.
That's what I thought he was talking
about. Yeah, you got me.
I thought because he was like, this running back is on a terrible team. I feel sorry for this guy.
Listen,
so I'm sitting here
Najee's
like,
a beast,
it's
but
basically he led the league in carries last year. It's got to be Najee.
Hey, Najee's a beast, but Rudolph's going to have more rushing yards getting out of the stadium.
Okay, Dalvin Cook. Please continue. Dalvin Cook.
When y'all said I knew who were you going to pick, I was like Najee Harris, but because that would have been hilarious. So the Steelers are my second favorite team. I don't like shitting on the Steelers.
But Najee's great.
Najee's a great running back. He really.
They're not going to do anything offensive without a quarterback.
I don't think Najee is like a top 10, top 5 running back. He's like top 15, top 20. But Dalvin Cook is a top 5 running back in this league.
When healthy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Talking about fantasy team when he missed half the season.
Yeah, that guy is so shifty. He's powerful. He's fast. I wish he gets traded up out of there sometime this season. See him go to a contending team maybe a team like the Cardinals or something. They could really use a Dalvin Cook down there. He's one of my favorite running backs to watch and one of the scariest ones. If you get a chance by somehow they're playing the Vikings game locally on TV, just stick around. Don't turn it off. Just stick around and watch Dalvin Cook. Watch him cook.
I mean, I'd watch the Vikings all day, every day, and we'll get into it, I'm sure. So. But Dalvin Cook is definitely a monster, for sure.
No.
You're muted, Justin.
You're muted, Justin.
You muted.
I haven't done that in a while.
If you didn't know, you're muted.
Yeah, I am muted. I had, it was just another Mason Rudolph joke. So we'll move on to tight end.
Yeah, we'll move on. He's had enough for one day. Come on, man.
Oh, fire the guy. Okay, tight ends. Scariest tight end moving in to God, I got another Mason Rudolph joke just loaded, but okay. Richie, scariest tight end moving in.
Tight end. I thought we would do receiver, but that's okay. We can do tight end.
Oh, yeah, I was building up the suspense.
Okay. So I'm stealing this from Trey, and I'm gonna say Darren Waller, honorary second, Mark Andrews. And everyone was expecting my white boy Travis Kelce, like I say, year in and year out. But one, it's boring at this point. And two, I mean, that's 9 years. So I don't want to, who cares anymore? Two, Devontae Adams. We got to go back to that. Darren Waller is a monster. He made the Bengals look stupid. And I think that's why when people saw the Bengals, they just didn't see them having any opportunity in the playoffs. Because Darren Waller, and this is the Bengals' weakness, Darren Waller ran over those dudes. It was embarrassing. I thought Travis Kelce was going to devastate them watching Darren Waller just beast on him. This dude is a monster if you don't know about him. Same thing with Mark Andrews, who actually led the league last year as a tight end. But again, I got to go with Waller just because you're talking about we're talking about the cream of the crop here. And Darren Waller was a top 3 guy. He wasn't the best. But then you add in another weapon. That's the one thing that was kind of preventing him from having a field day. You cannot double this guy anymore. Like Devontae is going to have to take that. They're going to throw the nickel that way. This dude is a beast. And he reminds me of a significantly more athletic, which is crazy to say, Antonio Gates. This guy is the real deal. I love Darren Waller. I'd give up Joe Mixon for Darren Waller. I mean it. I love Darren Waller that much. And I think Joe Mixon is a top 5 running back, arguably a top 3 running back. But I just think Darren Waller is very special. And I can't wait to see his season this year. I think this dude is going to be a phenom. I always draft Travis Kelce in fantasy. I always talk this boy up because he's shifty, like we talk about. He's crafty. He's that white guy. That's what he does. But Darren Waller is just pure, unadulterated athleticism and talent. And this dude is a beast, and I cannot wait to see this season.
And Kelsey's 12 foot tall, which helps.
Yeah, it does.
Trey, your tight end, scariest tight end.
So Richie took both of mine. But to throw one out there,
I didn't talk about Mark Andrews in all fairness. I just said Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Mark Andrews. I think Darren Waller's going to be Darren Waller's a beast. Mark Andrews, I think with the way that Lamar Jackson plays, Mark Andrews is his safety blanket. So he's especially with the way that he scrambles around, so he's going to do it. I'm going to throw one out there, and I can't remember his name, but he's the tight end that wind up getting play time because the starting tight end went down for the Cowboys. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about. Oh, I don't look his name up. I can't think of his name right now. It's not.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Went down and he wound up stepping up. Had a big year. Almost saved their season for them. I think he's going to be nice this year. I think he puts it all together, and he's probably going to be one of the best. I think he's going to be a top 10 tight end this year. Maybe top 5.
Okay, I mean, hey, man.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I like it. I like it. A unique pick.
Oh, Schultz. Yeah.
Schultz. He was nice last year. He came out of nowhere, too. And he was like one of the only bright spots they had on offense.
All right, Sahe. The drums are rolling for you once again. Scariest tight end.
Man,
I think Rob Gronkowski, when he comes back from his retirement, he gets 12 touchdowns in 4 games.
No, but it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue with the Darren Waller, right? He's like Gronk's out. He's the next guy to step in potentially. But there's another guy that I mentioned earlier, OJ Howard, who's not in Tampa Bay anymore. He's in Buffalo. He was a former first-round pick. He's playing with Josh Allen down there. Maybe a change of scenery, a change in vibe, change in culture. Maybe the spotlight not being on him this year to play extremely well out the gate. Especially you got the GOAT quarterback. OJ Howard's a in his head kind of guy. I watched his interviews, seen him play. He lets the ball down on the field a little bit. He'll drop some easy ones. He'll make some. He's one of those guys that'll drop a few easy ones, but he'll make the spectacular catches, right? So maybe him moving to Buffalo will calm him down a little bit, get him away to a different spot he hasn't been before. And that's something that could be a recipe for somebody with his size at 6'6". He's like 250 pounds. He can run a 4.5, 4.6 40. He's kind of built like a Darren Waller. Darren Waller didn't really get going until late into his career. I feel like moving teams was the wake-up call for this guy. And I really think that he can shine in an offense that doesn't have a great tight end room already. They're a pass-happy team. So he's going to get a lot of opportunities, and maybe OJ Howard is a guy that shines at tight end this year.
Hey, I love that one. Side note, I got to mention George Kittle because I try not to take all the names. George Kittle's going to have a great year, rookie quarterback. He's a fantastic tight end. I think he's going to have an up year. Last year he had a down year. I think this year he's going to have a big season.
Tyler Eifert.
And Mason. No, I'm just kidding. Jeez. Wide receivers, much awaited, much ado. Scariest wide receiver moving into this season. Richie, the floor is yours.
Okay, I've been saying it over and over and over on the show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually not going to say that name. You got Justin Jefferson, Phenom. You got Cooper Kupp, our shifty white guy like who we keep talking about. Every white guy is always shifty, by the way. Jamar Chase, you got the LSU boys. They in the building, but I'm going a different route. I just said it a second ago. In terms of he's going to need help, Deebo Samuel. I think he's the scariest guy as a wide receiver. I think that because this guy gets the ball more than other wide receivers. I'm not going to go into too much other than he was top 3 in receiving yards. He had over 300 rushing yards. He led the league in yards per catch at over 18 yards per catch. This guy can do it in terms of receiving. Now, is he going to be the Justin Jefferson type? Maybe not. You know, I think of Devontae Adams and Cooper as those received. Like, first of all, Devontae Adams is amazing. Period. I want to try to compare them, but they're really skilled at like getting possession yards and whatnot, and they run crisp routes, right? Whereas Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Deebo are more like burners, right? Barn burners. But I think Deebo is going to have a huge year this year. Last year, I was telling everybody I gave Justin the heads up to take him in fantasy. He didn't. I could have took him. He wasn't drafted. I tell Justin to take him. I was trying to throw him a bone. This boy doesn't take him, and Tony steals him from me. And Deebo goes on to have a fantastic year. So I'm going to say it again. Deebo Samuel, you got a quarterback that needs help. And you're going to see Kittle and you're going to see Deebo a lot more involved in this offense. And when you got a wide receiver who's rushing the ball 6 times a game, plus getting 8 receptions, it's a recipe for opportunities. He's an explosive, athletic guy. And to me, that's what makes him the scariest, is you never know if he's going to be running it or he's going to be passing it or he's going to be catching this ball. He's a jack of all trades. I don't think he's the best wide receiver, but I think he's the scariest wide receiver.
All right. And if you want to leave Deebo, if you want to leave me that bone again this year, I'll take it. Just
I don't think he'll be undrafted this time.
Just hold on now. You guys can do me a favor. Throw me another bone. I'm not the fastest dog. If I get too shifty, this white boy cracks and breaks. So Trey. Exciting news at the end of the show about fantasy football. I decided on something. It's a surprise for everybody. I think you guys are gonna like it. Trey, go ahead.
I'm so glad that Richie didn't take my guy. Devontae Adams linking up with Carr is going to be magic.
That would have been fun to steal every one of your guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I think I think Devontae Adams is a no-brainer. I'm going to try to step outside the box, and I'm going to go. I think CeeDee Lamb puts it together, and he works on those drop passes. I think CeeDee Lamb is the number one. I think Cooper's going to do really good with Deshaun Watson whenever he comes back, whether he sticks to the 6 games or they try to give him any more. I think they're going to try to give him 2 more games or something like that, but I think CeeDee Lamb puts it together this year. I think he's been told about his case of the drops, and he cleans that up, and he'll be somebody that we can, bank on.
Hey, CeeDee is a stud for sure.
And he's like, yes, you said that he's one of those guys that can make the spectacular catch. He reminds me of like Braylon Edwards.
Yeah.
How he floats down the sideline and he'll drop the one that you throw right to his chest, but he'll catch the one-handed toe tap on the sideline. He'll do that. So if he could just pull it all together, I think he'll be dope.
All right. Sahe, wide receiver, scariest wide receiver going into this year.
Scariest wide receiver. I'm not sure how scary this is, but the potential to be scary is there. All right. A team we ain't talked about, I don't think this entire show. In Denver, Colorado, Russell Wilson is about to change some receivers' lives. And I think the receiver that's going to benefit the most from this trade, let's ride Jerry Jeudy. All right. Jerry Jeudy is a guy that was drafted high, came into Denver, hasn't had one quarterback that's anywhere near the caliber of quarterback that Russell Wilson is. They've got some good receivers out there. They've got a nice little running game. They've got some pieces out there. I think a guy that really shines, who's going to be catching all those touchdowns in Denver from when Russell Wilson is scrambling around, Jerry Jeudy is going to be getting open at a high clip. He's going to be one of the scariest receivers going into about week 5, week 6. They're going to be talking about that guy that's saying, I mean, this is if they win, but the potential is there.
Hey, I like it.
I don't think we talked about this specifically, but I was like, every team in the AFC West is going to be legit on defense and offense. Every team in the AFC West has a quarterback, and they have people that can get to the quarterback, and they have weapons. The AFC West is going to be probably the toughest division in the NFL this year.
It's definitely one of, if not the toughest. And I like Jerry Jeudy. I mean, again, he's first-round pick. He hasn't, and like you said, he hasn't had stability. We haven't seen his potential. So it could easily be this year.
Oh, right. I love it. All right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do a fast round just so that we can get through defense. And I don't think we can do a whole segment on defensive player next year. So you guys, we will do just a hot take, a one sentence. It can be an extended sentence, but your defensive player and why, because we are running out of time. I don't ever cut you guys off. Richie.
I mean, super quick. TJ Watt. No, I'm just kidding. I can't pick TJ Watt over Aaron Donald. Triple team 60% of the time. Enough said. Aaron Donald.
I'm gonna go Micah Parsons. After his first year, he's already number 8 on a best pass rusher team, on the best pass rusher list as a rookie. Yeah, Micah Parsons is gonna put it together this year.
All right. And Sahe?
I'm going to go with the new Ray Lewis. All right. Devin White down there in Tampa.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
Justin, you can pick TJ Watt. He deserves to be in this conversation.
I'll pick TJ Watt. TJ, I love you. I do love Pittsburgh, but we just got some quarterback problems. Mason Rudolph. We got a lot of quarterback problems. All right. Folks, let us know in the comments in the review section your scariest players from each of those positions and any other comment you want to leave. Speaking of comments, we're going to do something new this year with fantasy football, as we are down to 4 on a regular basis. It was a kind of a group synopsis that we wanted more players last year, so I thought it'd be fun if we invite you to play. So the top 4 comments and or patrons get you an automatic spot. We're gonna pick from the comments, but if you want to donate to Patreon, I'm sorry, it's in the link tree. The top 4 donations get added to our fantasy league. You'll be playing against us, and we will be beating you. I'm just kidding. Who knows?
Yes, we will.
But yeah, I mean, there was just like everybody got star teams last year because we were already shorthanded. Now we're a little more shorthanded. So, folks, if you want to get involved, that link is in the link tree. Hit up the comments. We will choose from there if we don't get the donations. But hey, donate. You like us, don't you? We got a lot going on here at H2G Radio. Here in a couple days, you get another opportunity to check out Free Mess on Fridays. It's got both of these gentlemen, Sahe and Trey. It's just fantastic. You just got to be there. I always try to get a teaser trailer from Sahe, and he just says, just show up, man. You never know what's going to happen. And it's great. We're getting into the nitty gritty on True Crime for the Innocent Mind. Get ready for a 3-part whammer on Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman Killer, also starring Sahe and Trey, and of course, Andrew and my fiance Jordan. Andrew and I are still putting out episodes for the Actors Breakdown. So if you're interested in getting involved in acting, you can check that out on Sundays. And now, as of this past Monday and moving forward on Mondays, we have The Boss Dog Show starring Jerron out of Ohio, in the Findlay region of Ohio. And that is a great show if you've ever had a service job and didn't enjoy it. It's a great show in general, but that's a large portion of their focus. All of that, H2G Radio, we're still growing. We're still looking for more people. If you want to get involved, justthosebestlive@gmail.com. Fellas, any final thoughts for the people out there?
Get that ass looking fantasy football. Let's go.
Bring it on, Richie says.
Yeah, bring it on.
Come get it. I love football season.
It's gonna be exciting. Richie's gonna win. He's gonna.
Well, I'm aiming to. We'll see. Somebody in this panel or joining either a Patreon or a fan can beat us. Let's go, man. We're all ready for it. It'll be fun. We love football.
Teams.
We enjoy fantasy football. I think Trey's team will be much better since he won't be doing it remote without being able to see who he's drafting. I think that will help Trey. Right? We're gonna give him a pass on last season because he couldn't see anything. I would be able to draft well if I couldn't see who was available.
I remember
like 2 minutes, like
read the entire roster.
Juju Smith.
Advertise that was
Show up to work, Trey. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So enough said. It's a new year, new fantasy, new opponents. But I'm looking forward to the challenge. I'm sure we're all looking forward to, if I'm Trey, looking forward to actually having a team I wanted to draft, possibly. So we'll see. And we know Sahe was kind of having a little fun taking somebody and then trading down to take his quarterback. So maybe it'll be a little more serious in the draft room this year. We'll see, guys. Who knows? Who knows?
You never know.
And you never know what you're going to get out of this team.
Especially with me. I know who you want. I might take him.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to tell anybody anything, but I'm going to
do business.
All right. That does it. I think that's all the time we have. We'll see you next Wednesday. This is the Wire Sports Podcast. Hey, live, laugh, love like it's your last. And for God's sake, stay classy.